Hey guys, just trying to populate my new channel with a few videos, and I've decided to redo kind of a couple of the videos that were on my old channel. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick shop tour. Since the last one I did, I've kind of added a few tools, rearranged a couple things, and kind of done some things differently. And on my last one, I kind of gave an overview of my entire garage, but I think on this one, just to save time, I'm going to just do kind of an overview of the tools that I use to make knives as far as my regular tools go. So I'll go ahead and start this off over here on my main work table. As you can see, it is my main table, as kind of everything but the kitchen sink has found its way on top of it. It is a little bit cluttered right now. Kind of had a lot of projects going on, which is really no excuse. I do need to clean this up and get it functional again. We do have, this is my main workbench. This is where I grind all my knives on my no-weld grinder sander. Look for another overview of that to be on this channel. And as well as that, we do have my electric etcher hiding under some junk here. This is where I mark my blades with. This is a homemade machine that I built using plans from Chris Crawford's website, if I remember correctly. And I'll probably do another overview on that as well, now that I've got some blades that I've marked with it. Right here we just have a cigar box full of templates and partially finished knives. There's a bunch of miscellaneous tools that I use, clamps and hammers. This is my center scribe that I made for marking my center lines on my blades. Again, look for another video on that. This is one of my bigger tools next to my grinder. I probably use this the most, and this is my heat treating oven. I built and designed this myself using various resources online, doing quite a bit of research, seeing some ovens that other guys had built, and pretty much compiled all that information together into this oven, which works fantastically well. I've used it to heat treat several blades now. It's done several heats and it's doing very well. It holds very accurate, consistent temperatures. Using my control box there that I made. You got the power switch on the left, and this one powers up the coil, which will start heating things up here in a second. But while we're kind of waiting on that, I have my Kydex press under here that I made. And that's what I use to form my Kydex sheaths with. This is just a piece of 410 stainless sheet, 12 by 12. I also have a piece of railroad track down there, a couple of those to make some anvils out of. And as you can see, that's already heating up, and it'll heat up pretty quickly. I can probably get it to 1500 within 20 minutes at the most, depending on how cold it is. Let's see, under the bench we have my griddle plate. It's an electric griddle that I use to heat my oil for quenching my blades, as well as for heating Kydex for forming. Also got an oscillating spindle sander. I don't really use that too much since I've made my small arm attachment using the same spindles, so that's a little bit more effective for me. Moving over here, this is my second most used table. It's just kind of a big welding table, 1/4 inch sheet of steel, so very solid. I have my bench mounted angle grinder that I use to form the notches of my ricassos, as well as kind of rough out blanks and things like that, and cut steel and other things. And made my own switch for it, switchable outlet. Have the power cut off to it right now, but that works very well. I made my own tool rest, which is pretty quick and dirty, but very effective. This is one of the newer additions to the shop. It was on sale, so I couldn't pass it up. It's a 6-inch buffer, works very well, and surprisingly quiet. But I got a couple different compounds on there. Eventually I would like to get a second one to put an even lighter compound on, as well as maybe a Scotch-Brite wheel. Behind that's my router table. I use that to shape my handle scales from time to time. We also have a box full of steel for more knives. And then we have an adjustable vise. This pivots 360 degrees at, I believe, maybe 90 or almost 90 degrees, 120. Very cheap vise, but very solid, very good investment. And I use that usually when cord wrapping handles or anything else that I need to do detail work with. Next to that we have my arbor press. I use that to press rivets or flare eyelets for my Kydex sheaths. Right now I have a 3/16 eyelet die from usaKnifeMaker.com. Those were custom made for them specifically. And they're very good dies. They have very good results. And I also have some 1/4-inch dies coming fairly soon. So I'll have 3/16 and 1/4-inch eyelets. I got a scroll saw over there. Sometimes I use that to shape my handle slabs and things of that nature. I've also used it to cut Kydex. And another machine I use quite a bit is my Shopsmith, and that I mostly use as a drill press. As you can see, it's set up right now. It's also a table saw, a lathe. That drill press can be leaned over and the table tilted for a horizontal boring machine. It also has some disc grinders that attach to it, as well as a 6-inch joiner, and I believe that's a 12-inch bandsaw, possibly 14-inch, but need to tune that up a little bit and get that going, get some new blades for it, and maybe I could use that to cut my blades as well. But pretty versatile machine. Ideally I would have all of the individual machines just to reduce setup time, and also because standalone machines are usually a bit more accurate and user friendly than the Shopsmith that tries to be everything at once. But I'm very glad I have it. It also takes up a lot less room than having all the machines, which right now is a good thing. Another thing that I get probably the most use out of in the shop is this old radio, complete with 8-track player. Although I don't have 8 tracks, the FM radio works extremely well, and it's very loud, so I can hear it over my grinder very well. And that thing's probably older than I am, but still kicking, so I'm happy about that. We also have my camera set up for when I do videos with 2 hands. Just on a cheap tripod there, nothing too special, just a Sony Handycam. And I'll be using that in the future. Another thing we have over here is my third workbench. Pretty old. I'm planning on replacing this hopefully in the near future with something a bit heavier and sturdier. But it does get the job done, although it does rock a lot when I'm cutting things in the vise. But I got a little 4-inch vise, nothing too special. And then I have my tempering station over here. And this is where I temper all of my heat-treated blades in my toaster oven with my oven thermometer for accuracy. So that's really it. I got my shop apron over there that I'm usually wearing when working with metal or wood, just to protect my clothes and myself. And other than that, that's really most of the tools that I use for making knives, minus some miscellaneous hand tools and things of that nature. Nothing too special or worth going over. I also have a little toolbox full of various odds and ends for handles and sheaths and things. So that's pretty much the shop tour. I got a lot of other crap besides, but nothing related to knives. So we're at our 10-minute mark. As always, rate, comment, or subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.